What's going on, guys? I'm Steve. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. If it's your first time stopping by the channel, hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you won't regret it. You're a returning subscriber as always, guys. Welcome back, and I do appreciate the support. Guys, somebody sent me this story, and when I seen it, I was like, wow, this is crazy. This is a story out of Baltimore. Now, I don't know how long ago this story was, but I mean, it has to be recent because it's a young lady whose story, she did an exclusive with the local news. I think it was Fox 5 and or Fox 45, whatever it is out there in Baltimore. Shout out Baltimore. And it's about her boyfriend or husband. I don't know who this guy is, but this guy was on she was involved in a 1-hour standoff with police when this guy had somewhat of what is deemed a mental health episode. He stabbed her 11 times during that 1-hour standoff. And there's some particulars that you won't hear in this video I'm about to show you, where she talks about her story. But I'm going to tell you, after looking at a couple of articles on this thing, about how serious and deadly this was. People have to be careful out there when they're dealing with people with mental illness. And she said one thing that's key that I want you all to hear. We'll talk about in the end. Check this out.
And a Baltimore County woman shares her story of survival after an admitted killer held her hostage and stabbed her 11 times during a 24-hour standoff.
You could barely walk. You lost a lot of blood. When you finally made it out, how did you feel at that exact moment?
I just kept thinking he's going to come out behind me.
And we begin there, the woman reliving her terrifying ordeal in a conversation with Vincent Hill in a story you're seeing first on Fox.
Boy, Sterling ain't do that.
The agonizing pain of a female, live streamed on Instagram. Now Erica Hart, sitting down with Fox 45 to share her story of survival.
One of the stab wounds on my neck was right here. I had got stabbed right here, and then I busted my lip on the steps right here. And then 2 of the stab wounds were over here.
The man responsible,
The next day after he came home.
31-year-old Antonio Hart.
That was the Antonio I knew. He was telling me, like, how we were gonna go. He was like, should we drive off a cliff? Should I have you tied to me?
During an hours-long standoff, Erica was stabbed 11 times.
You said I'm blue?
That's why I'm trying to keep you warm.
I couldn't move. I couldn't move my legs. I couldn't feel this at all. My back was soaking wet.
So you weren't able to walk at this point?
I
You were
couldn't
just
do
on
nothing.
the floor.
He knew I couldn't walk.
While you're laying there, though, what's running through your head?
I kept telling myself I have to control my bleeding because I'm not dying and leaving the kids behind.
Told you get up.
But Erica says the man who stabbed her wasn't the man she knew.
So let's talk about mental health. You said there's 2 people you knew, Antonio Hart and Rambo. What's the difference?
Antonio Hart is a very loving person. He is the most loyal person you could ever meet.
Who was Rambo?
Rambo was evil.
Get the hostage negotiator here right now.
Rambo was angry.
Yeah, Rambo. I'm going out with a bang.
I think for black men, they're very stubborn with their mental health.
One thing weighing heavy on his mind, she says.
I need some confessions to do about murders and all that before I die. You hear me?
Confessing to several murders, including a 2010 murder Sterling Matthews is serving a 115-year sentence for.
Not a day goes past he didn't talk about Sterling.
I feel bad. It hurt me to my heart. Sterling Matthews doing a life sentence behind the dog.
It wasn't until we were sitting in the house that he was confessing to me about it. And it was him. He had the Hellraiser mask. And it was just at that time there was like a no snitch rule, and Sterling, he held his loyalty and took that charge.
The one thing that kept Erica going.
What kept you alive?
Mason, that kid he's so tough, so strong for a 6-year-old. He's so brave. I knew I would break him.
Vincent Hill, Fox 45 News.
Vincent mentioned Sterling Matthews, currently serving a 115-year sentence. He was 17 at the time of the murder and always maintained his innocence. He shared his side of the story with Fox 45 News last week.
Did you shoot and kill Daquan Burks?
No, not at all. I had nothing to do with it. Never. Always told the people I was innocent. I had nothing to do with it. Wasn't even there. They wouldn't do what they supposed to do as far as it's like thorough investigation.
Matthews is scheduled for a post-conviction hearing in March. For more on Sterling Matthews, including his mother's alibi for him the night of the murder, head to foxbaltimore.com.
All right, guys, that's the story of Antonio Hart, age 31, nicknamed Rambo. Now, guys, I'm going to tell you something. This occurred on January 20th. This is when of this year. This is when the standoff took place. And I'm going to be honest with you. This dude is corny as hell. And I'm being real. This is a byproduct of believing that rap music is real and wanting to adopt that type of lifestyle. This guy, ladies and gentlemen, did all of this stuff, went on a 1-hour standoff with this woman, like the video said, stabbed her 11 times while her children slept in the house, 3 children in another room. He acting a fool, cutting up. A lot of people say it's mental illness. I think it's just being feral and wild, because I know a lot of dudes that are like this. They get mad and do this type of stuff. If you notice, she was like, oh, well, the Antonio I know is this, but the Rambo I know is a bad person and this and that. No disrespect to the victim, but that's a thug ass dude and you know it. In the Instagram thing, he said Rambo. When he get hyped, he calls himself Rambo. That's his street name or whatever. That's who he want to be in the street. That's this fictional character that a lot of these men have, that they put in themselves and try to live up to this stuff with street credibility, being, man, something that they, Jesus Christ. This dude was certified maniacal. He was a nut. I bet he was a nut in the street. Keeping it real. Who does they come? Terrorists. Do you know she jumped out the 2nd floor window to escape him and left her children in the house? Guess what happened? Soon as she jumped out, landed on the ground, hit her mouth. Remember she said she hit her teeth on the step, broke her teeth stuff? That was from the jump. Guess what happened? He jumped right behind her, landed on the ground. Both of them tore up. Picks her up, drags her right back in the house to continue the standoff. What's messing with that? Crazy. Post everything on Instagram. My big issue with this whole thing, and I want you to hear me on that, is the lack of honor that a lot of us have, and a lack of getting ourselves in order and really thinking deep about if we have problems, how we can get out of them. Some of us can't do that. It's like something's missing where we can't just stop all of the flashing lights and slow ourselves down and say, you know what, I can't live like this. Even though we're in anguish sometimes. Your best friend hurt my heart. They gave him 115 years. But you confessed to the murder and you knew it was you. And he's locked up and didn't do anything. And you know, and you said nothing. No respect. That ain't gangster. That's my problem with this whole thing, besides what he did to that woman, risking taking her away from her children and creating more idiots like him out in the street that don't know their why and their purpose in life. This is what happens when you have that. Check it out. Your friend locked up, but you won't say nothing. This guy in 2011, another murder, Deshaun Smoot, age 18 at the time, he confessed to that too. Now that you know you're going all the way out, you're going to get on Facebook, you're going to get on Instagram or whatever, and confess it to the world, because you know when the police come, They're going to end you. And you ain't got to go to jail and sit in despair like your friend is, where you set him up. You set him up because he's in there and you're not, and you the one that did the shit. Now this guy been locked up for a minute. You see the picture, got like a grown-ass man now. Bow. Did you see him in the video? Screaming at the camera, hair moving. I thought he was a female for a second. I didn't even know it was a dude. I'm like, what kind of girl is that? It's a dude. Wow, man. We fix ourselves and clean up. A lot of us that look like us got to go. You can't reform that. You can't. And it's sad, man. It's sad to even say that, but I mean, come on, man. Keep blinking in and out of savagery. Oh, let me put a blanket on you. Oh, you're turning blue. Yeah, for the blood loss of getting stabbed in the damn face. And I'm gonna say another thing. I'm gonna say another thing about this woman real quick. And I'm gonna keep it real. You know why I respect her? She got strong survival instinct. No, her babies was in the house. When she jumped out that window and he pulled her back in there and the whole ordeal started again, she could have fell into despair. She didn't do that. She's a survivor. She got that survival instinct. I have that. A lot of people don't have that. I don't know why they don't have that, but she has that, and that needs to be applauded because she could have easily cried, screamed, begged, pissed him off, and he could have ended her in the house before the police came. She get respect from me. She thought about them babies. See, she brought up one of her children. He's so strong. That's what powered her and kept her calm in that situation of complete chaos. It's crazy. Confess to 2 murders. Get on the social media, acting a fool. I'm gonna tell you another thing, man. Social media crazy. It's like everybody, like, why you gotta broadcast that stuff, man? I don't understand. That does not help us, with growth and development as a people. It's like every time people get angry, they only think selfishly. They never think this makes us collectively look bad if this kind of negative press comes out, and it perpetuates the stereotype against us. That's how I think. Every time I go out here and I represent, I go out this house, I represent my parents. I represent my children. I represent my wife if I have one. And I represent, my social class as a whole. I do. Who's in relationship with a moron. Things are what they are, man. It's just, and it's messed up. He's dead. But I mean, I judge intent and I judge actions. That the punishment fit the crime. Oh, and another thing. You ever notice this? No matter how crazy somebody is or stupid they are or them doing crimes and all this stuff, always got to post it on the web. Take it right to Instagram. You notice more black people died on Instagram than any other platform besides Facebook Live. It's like now they're just death cams. It's like you see anything on Instagram, you could listen. Instagram Live pop off. It's so messed up on Instagram and social media, right? It could be a cell phone just looking at the ceiling with a ceiling fan up there and 2 people arguing, and it'll have thousands of views. People be just waiting to see what happened. We are silly people sometimes. I'm going to put this on Instagram. Had to show I'm real. Rambo, nigga. On the street. Got him on there. You turning blue. I'm trying to keep you warm. After stabbing her in the face. Crazy or not. Wasn't non-coherent and just mindless. It took time to load that up. You were on there doing a rant. And you should have went in the mirror years ago and yelled at yourself about why you let somebody else sit and rot for a sin that you committed and why you can't get yourself right and where your sense of honor is. I mean, I know y'all probably like, why is Steve mad, man? I'm mad because, man, I've done time, and I know people that let people, if that's your friend, why you let him go through that? And then try to confess it at the end when you know you ain't going to face no punishment because you're going to get yourself out of here. You're going out with a bang anyway. That's corny, man. That's some coward stuff. You sitting up here naming yourself Rambo out of a fictional character that stood for something honorable that he believed in, and you the opposite of that shit. Instagram. Death cam. I'm gonna stab a woman up. Man, you don't get no respect from no other men out here by going out like that. I'm just saying. I'm out.